Hot mics.
Okay, we'll be careful not to say anything bad.
Did we all get this?
Yeah, I haven't opened it yet, but I'll do it later.
Don't even try. Oh, I think it's about what we're going to, the changes.
It's about the bylaws, yeah.
Oh, the bylaws.
Yeah.
Or that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
that's,
bylaws.
that's on the discussion. thing.
Yeah, it's in there.
I have one comment.
So we
on
have,
when you get
yeah,
there.
we have it.
All right, yeah.
So if you want to look at it easier, it's in here.
Okay, we got about a minute to go.
Okay. All right.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock, so we'll call this meeting to order. Starting out with the Pledge of Allegiance. Who wants to lead? You lead? Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next is the approval of our agenda. Do I have a motion for approval?
I move we approve our agenda.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. And the approval of minutes for the September 17th board meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
I move we approve the minutes.
And a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. On to informational reports, starting out with Dr. J.
Dr. Kowski, members of the board and guests, thank you for being here tonight. I will be brief. Just want to say, glad to be back. It was nice to have some time off, and we appreciate having this time off in October to rest a little and then come back ready to go and finish out this first term, which will be coming up here shortly, strong, and then move on into the second term. I want to take a moment to say thank you to all of our principals. This is Principal Appreciation Month, and I did buy them all some pie earlier today as a thank you from the local chocolatier in town. But I just, as a small gesture for all the work they do, obviously we have four actually. I consider Denise one of our principals as the director of our Little Falcons preschool, but our four leaders do an amazing job day in and day out of leading their schools, improving outcomes, working strong with the community, and most of all, having great relationships with our students. So thank you to Denise, Val, Kim, and Barry for all the work they do. Setting, the leadership at each site really is what sets everything in motion at the schools. So thank you all, and Val's here tonight, so let's give it up for Val. All right, and lastly, we have some books that are going to be going on review display on the 16th. These are gardening books that were donated by our local Rotary Club, and they're helping with a garden project over at McDowell Mountain. So the list was here, and we'll post that and have those books available and bring them back to you at a later time. So with that, I conclude my comments. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So for the governing board thing, I'm going to start out with a statement. Madison Reed submitted her resignation from the governing board on October 11th to be effective immediately. We thank Madison for her service to the district and wish her well in her future endeavors. Okay. Lillian, do you want to continue?
I will go on. The first thing I attended after our last board meeting, I had to look back, it's been a while, was homecoming. The parade was great. It was a lot of fun. I thought it was a really good turnout. So it was nice to see. I know PTO is giving awards for first place and everything else, so it was really nice. I attended the Maricopa County meeting a week ago. I think it was a week ago. I forget already. And I did get an award, so it's really nice. I got an award for all the hours that I've gone and done things. So I'm on a committee that's with all the Native American, Hispanic caucus, Black caucus, and we're trying to work on things where it's one big caucus instead of separate ones. So there were 2 meetings. I missed the first one. I was at the second one, and we're working on what to do for the conference coming up in December to inform everybody what's happening so we can help all the students better. And I did go to the meeting, so they elected a second person to help out, to be in charge of that, because the people that are representing each county gets to be on the board. So they have a say in what's going on. So we elected a second person, and he's from, I think it's Goodyear, but he graduated from Scottsdale. So the superintendent was there and gave him a pin to wear proudly from having graduated from there. And I attended the coffee with Mrs. Reichler yesterday, which was decently attended. There were more people, I think, last month, but still, it's great information, and PTOs, they're really representing, so they have a lot to say with that. And I've gone to site council meetings just to listen. I don't do anything with them, just sit there and find out what's going on. That's it.
Okay. Kim, you go next.
Okay, since my last report, my efforts have been more around my training. So I signed up to be a mentor with the Golden Eagle Foundation and was able to go to their training for the mentors. They're doing training not only for new people that want to become mentors, but they're also doing a refresher course for people who've been mentors for a long time, just to kind of bring them up to speed on things that may have changed. Like, for example, our new clock/alarm security system that's been installed and things like that. So that was a really great training. Really appreciated all of the information in that. And so once I clear my background check, I will hopefully get to start mentoring in the schools. And then the other thing is that I have registered to go to the conference that is on Friday and Saturday of this week. That's being held by our Maricopa County Superintendent Shelley Boggs for governing board members. So that's a 2-day, all-day, each day conference. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that's all I have.
Okay. Bernie?
I'll see you Friday and Saturday. Okay. I would like to just take a minute and make a statement about Madison. Even though we didn't always agree on things, she spent a lot of time and effort and really had the concern of kids. So getting a different perspective once in a while makes you think. So just wanted to say that. Okay. Youth Protection Coalition meeting. Really neat presentation by Raining Grace Ranch. They said they have an average about 500 clients, students, patients, whatever you want to call them, that are going out there, and half of them are from Fountain Hills. That was a surprising statistic that I heard, and we donate funds from another organization to support kids that are going out there. So that was interesting. The garden project, we got some plants planted at the elementary school. It's a whole group of folks from different nonprofits that are working together to see that happen, and they had teachers involved, galleries involved, the staff, the landscapers. I mean, it's a whole village that's making sure that that garden grows. The homecoming parade was a...
That was cute.
You like that one? The homecoming parade was really cool, and I think we were lucky. We were riding the golf cart that had a celebrity in it. The star was JC. He was driving it. I think they were throwing candy at us. It was just really neat. Oktoberfest, volunteers were out there from the town, and there were a lot of student interns that were there doing some community service, and I thought that was really great. Since the appointment to the Facilities Committee, I've reached out to a couple folks, gotten some input. I got a draft together. I'll be meeting with Dr. J tomorrow. We'll go over some ground rules, and I'll let you know status as I continue on that effort. I'm also been invited. I'm meeting with the town tomorrow. They're going to discuss about the land sale and the developer and what they're going to do and see what the next steps are for going forward. And finally, the Golden Eagle mentoring has gone through some changes this year because of personnel and the systems that they use, but I think they've got it ironed out. They got the matches made, and they'll be starting really soon as far as notifications going out to folks. And I know my teacher's been ready for a month, so I'll be happy to get in there and start doing it too. The other thing that they're working on tonight, they're having a meeting same time we are, is the projects for the students, the classrooms. So the projects were turned in, they're going through a final validation of them, and then the word will be coming out really soon on that, so the teachers will have some funds to work on the projects. And that's all I have.
Okay. So I was also at the homecoming parade, and I agree with the celebrity. We were certainly not the celebrities there, that's for sure. And then during the Drug Coalition meeting here, I was actually at McDowell Mountain Elementary doing Tar Wars. Tar Wars is originally was a tobacco use program. I've morphed it in the last few years to do drug and tobacco use prevention. So I've been doing that in the district since 2006, I think, every year. So Ms. Reichler, thanks for having me back there. It was very good for the fifth graders there, and it's an interactive program and basically educates them about if they choose to use tobacco or drugs, what would happen, and try to scare them a little bit so that they remember these things down the line. So hopefully that works. And then I'll be joining you tomorrow at that meeting about the Toll Brothers proposal. So look forward to that to get it moving forward. Okay,
Yep.
well, I'll be there. Cool. Who's bringing the food? No.
I know.
Okay, and that's all I have. Okay, on to reports, starting with Site Council minutes, starting at page 12 on the page numbers, not the revised thing. Any questions or comments about the Site Council minutes?
No, I have to say, I'm glad that all three schools, principals went through the bylaws for it, because some were lost, some were in files that nobody knew about. So they've gone through it to put it together so it's cohesive among the three schools, and it makes sense to everybody. So thank you for doing that. And another thing was I'm going to say, not the bicycles, but the e-bikes, that they've spoken to MCSO to make sure that students are riding it and not looking, and actually not riding, it's more like a motorcycle. So they've been told not to ride them around anymore, and this way we're more careful with our students.
982, so fairly stable, not as high as we'd like to see it, but that's the way it goes. Any questions or comments about that one? Okay, if not, then we move on to the exciting thing of the annual financial report. Mr. Hartman.
Good evening, Dr. Rakowski, members of the board, Dr. Jay, and guests. I'm sure that's why everybody is here to see this. Thank you for your patience on this. The forms became available in mid-September, and it has to be uploaded and approved by October 15th, which happens to be today. So I did like I did with the budget. These are kind of the Cliff Notes version of the long document. I will be sending you Classroom Site Fund and the site-by-site breakdown. The site-by-site breakdown is 1,000 pages, so it'll be electronic. And then it breaks down some, you know, when we look at the different facilities and stuff, we'll be using that, but I will send you that separately. Those do not require board approval, only the main AFR does, which is why I'm just presenting on that. But I will tomorrow send you the other 3 subparts, if you will. So again, these glasses are just for show, so I look smart. But this is the AFR. It's from last fiscal. This is my first one because last year this time I don't even think I knew what an AFR was. So Tyler did it, if you remember. But this was my first about 40 hours of work. I had it checked and then checked again by the appropriate people. So it all comes from visions. You're reconciling the general ledger and then uploading all the data. It's a little different than the budget. The budget allows for, you know, movement of things subject to where our needs are, but this is just straight data right from visions. So this talks about what I just talked about, state statute. The board is required to approve the AFR, but the other 3, there's food service. They added the food service section this year, so in the AFR. So there's no longer a separate AFR, but I included that, and also classroom site fund narrative, which is part of this, but still has a separate section. And then we broke down the 3: elementary school, middle school, high school, the school level reporting. So just some comparisons, just because it's tough to find in the actual document. FY, again, we're going back 2 years, 23, 24, compared to last year. So in this job, you're rarely thinking in the present. You're either living in the past or the future. And this is really emphasizes that. So you'll see pretty consistent. Last year as you know, we had to be very frugal, but we didn't want to compromise money that goes towards kids. So classroom, about the same. Slight drop in spending, instructional support, student support, virtually identical in the percent of the M&O budget. Ops was actually identical to the decimal. Transportation, remember we used Impact Aid a lot last year for transportation, so that's why the lower number in the M&O budget. We didn't use as much of the M&O budget as in 23 and 24, and then food service, virtually the same as well. So just some side-by-side highlights there. If you look at the last 3 years, just wanted to highlight what's in there with the M&O budget, show you what the carry forward has been going back, and then our carry forward from last year. And then once we roll into the new budget next week, you'll see the carry forward number higher than that. So we were able to, thanks to really everyone, and I just said it in our recent finance newsletter, it really takes everyone from teachers to the community to everybody to still get everything done under more difficult circumstances. It's almost like in your house, so you got to cut back. You still find a way to get it done, but that's what Dr. J has spearheaded for us to do as we move forward in this district. A look at salaries. Again, these were the major funds for salaries. M&O, and this won't be a surprise, usually 70 to 80% of an M&O budget is salaries. We do use classroom site fund for teacher bonuses as well, hard to fill, things like that. We are paying 4 teachers, well, that's this year, but we've paid them in the past out of classroom site fund if they meet certain criteria. In terms of we need to hire another teacher because of enrollment or things like that, or so there's some criteria that we use for that. But for the most part, classroom site fund is used for the performance bonuses or things like that. And then impact aid, like I just said, we had, I want to say 17 or 18 or 19 drivers last year. We had a head of transportation and an assistant. So we paid the salaries and transportation and a lot of the ops costs, but out of impact aid. So that's the total amount spent on those salaries out of M&O. And then those are the budget, M&O and capital are budget funds. The cash funds, just to give you an idea, the ending balances at the end of each fiscal going back 5 years. I've listed them there. Food service went down. Food costs, as I'm sure everybody knows, went up. Rentals did go down. We didn't, until we got pickleball, we weren't really actively renting anything. But we were able to put some money back in community schools, and then the low number in indirect costs is that the balance is good, which means we allocated a lot. So that's that. Future, and I can let Dr. J speak to this as well. Obviously, potential election coming up in 26, and I say potential because we haven't decided anything. But the M&O override that was passed 5 years ago is obviously ending this year. It's our last year of over $1 million in funding for that. So it'll be a windy road, but since I've been principal in this district, and I want to air a grievance, former principals who still work here, we're obviously not part of the chocolatier acknowledgement, but I'll work to do that. Ever since I've been here as a principal, this district has figured it out, whatever that obstacle is. So I'm very optimistic about the future, especially with the leadership we have here and a board who loves kids and does what's best for kids. So we'll have some decisions to make in the future. We're going to remain frugal this year and move forward accordingly. So the AFR, I think you got 11 pages emailed to you. This, like I said, is kind of the Cliff Notes version. My kids don't know what Cliff Notes are. They tried to use that with them, but we all do, I think, in this room. I certainly do. And try to, again, like the budget, simplify rather boring and arduous and a lot of content. So that's where we are.
Comments, questions?
I have a question. On slide 6, you referred to community schools. Can you help clarify what that is?
Yeah, it's something that's been used in the past for, you can use it in a variety of different ways. I'm not sure historically how Fountain Hills has gotten the money in there.
Preschool.
Every district's different, but.
Preschool, correct?
What's that?
Yeah, I believe that's your preschool. funds.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
mostly our preschool.
Okay.
And yeah, 520, we are trying, at this point, we're still trying to pay most of them out of M&O and not use that.
Okay.
But again, it's there if we have to, and you can see since the preschool, like that's the majority of our revenue. I'm not sure back in '22, where, because I know the preschool opened in '23, I believe. But it's significantly higher because of the tuition.
So currently that account right now is over 200,000. And by the end of the year, if we don't do any kind of journal entries out, it should hit close to 400. So it's a way it's basically your tuition money that comes in. And then, if we decide, working with the county on, if we want to move positions
That was gonna be my
around,
next
yes,
question.
we can.
Okay.
And we have up till a certain time and at the end of the year to do so. So right now, one of the things that we've had happening for a long time here is a lot of accounts being used to pay people. And so what we've tried to do with the budget cuts last year is to streamline everything to the M&O budget. And then the additional accounts we've been using at the end of the year, if we're allowed to journal something over to free up M&O at the end of the year for carry forward, moving on. So right now, what's nice about last year's, really this year's budget is that almost every salary is in M&O, where in the past, there would be some coming out of various different accounts. And so there's only a couple coming out of Classroom Site Fund. And those were, like an example would be first grade. We were concerned about the enrollment being too high and having 30-some kids in first grade per class. So we opened a third section, and because it's to reduce class size, we're able to use Classroom Site Fund for that. So all those journal entries we do with Annette at the county, and then we also check with our auditor over at Highfield Meats to make sure it's all done correctly. So a lot of these accounts with cash are the ones that cumulatively make up some of our savings that we have in the savings account. So if you ever want to stop by, and I can walk you through some of those if you'd like to ever see those more in depth.
Yeah.
And then I check them every time Annette's here. Her and I go through those. It's about 12 accounts that we go through, and then I just keep an eye on those ones.
Thank you. That was my main concern, that we don't build up funds in an account that can only be used for specific items. So it sounds like this is the type of account where if we needed to at some point, we could move those funds out.
Yes, there's a few accounts you can do that. This is one of them.
515 is another one.
Yeah.
Just for virtually anything.
So a lot of, like some of there's definitely some accounts that are very specific, but then there's others that have a lot of flexibility. And so as we clean up, you hear him talk a lot about cleaning up at the end of the year. What we'll do a lot of times is look at, is there opportunities to move positions that fit better for, saving for the future. So all in all, just speaking to the future, like Chris mentioned, obviously the override would have an impact. It would actually, the first year of loss of funds would be 27, 28. So the election would be 26, 27 if you choose to go for it. And we're predicting another decrease for next year with just looking at kindergarten numbers and preschool numbers that we have now and high school numbers, seniors. So we'll have to adjust the budget again next year. We did a good job this year of predicting. And right now, we're pretty spot on. The last time we did the ADM check, it was almost identical to what we predicted. But what helped us was a lot of the carry forward. And so and that's us saying no to a lot of projects or a lot of things like, can it wait? And if it can't wait, then we fix it. If it can wait, then it will. So continuously thinking about having carry forward allows us to save positions. And that's what I've tried to explain, to especially our maintenance team and some of the other transportation and things like that, is if we save throughout the year, we may not have to come to you next year with a budget reduction for your department because we had enough carry forward to move that on. So we'll give you updates as we plan for next year. I do think we'll need to make reductions again, but I think a lot of them, if not all of them, may be through attrition. And a lot of that attrition's already happened. So it was things we budgeted for this year, and then we had some employees that had life changes and had to move, and we have not replaced those positions. So that savings not only is this year, but will help us with next year's budget. So we'll give you more of an update as we go. Yep.
Anyone else? Bernie?
Not directly related, however, how is the QR code system working for athletic events, and where does that money wind up?
Yeah, so, good question. Last I heard from Evelyn, and I have to admit, I anticipated more pushback, but it's working great. It does go into athletics and that sports auxiliary fund. But she finally got tired of my asking, but so far, and then Dr. J and I, we told her if someone comes in with a 20 and says, I'm going to watch my grandson play, just take it as a donation. Not everybody loves granddaughter, not everybody loves technology, but it's a very user-friendly system, and she said there's been no issues. And I have to tell you, it's made Val Fernandez's life a lot easier with not carrying as much cash. Our goal is not just, Miss Wilson is doing it with the dance concerts now. The goal is really to make the entire district cashless, unless it's a unique situation. But we're kind of rolling it out a little slower with just, paid events outside of the school day.
And I'll share, as a volleyball parent, I go to a lot of other schools, and this is pretty uniform everywhere. GoFan has become pretty much the uniform system. I have not seen anywhere I've gone this year where they took credit card or cash other than through GoFan. So it's pretty common now. So it's working out.
I'll just say that I do have hesitations to going towards completely cashless. I think it does eliminate certain people in the community and society. And some of those people could be parents or guardians. So I will just express my caution around that.
Yeah, that's why we rolled it out slowly, and I think we would always have, and this is kind of a barometer, right? I haven't heard of any instances, but, I don't think we'd ever be in a situation where someone was denied anything because they just had cash. So I think it could work. It's kind of like a teacher in a class, right? You don't want to advertise cash is fine, but if that's all someone has or has access to or whatever, they would not be denied anything. Just like they would now.
My only question was with rentals, because we're able to rent out certain places now because the community center's gotten very pricey. Do you think that'll help with getting a little bit more cash?
We get some. Most of the groups that use ours are in the exempt area, so Kiwanis and Rotary and things like that. And so, but that's helped them, which is a good partnership, and they do a lot for education and they do a lot for the district. So, but I will say that we definitely rent our gym. We have a renter for the gym, which is a really nice rental agreement. And then the pickleball, which we renegotiated, and that's a much larger number than it once was. But you're going to see a decrease there because we don't have renters anymore. But you're also then, on the flip side, you're saving on not fixing air conditioners over there. So it's probably a break-even point, probably a little bit one way or the other. But in the end, it's for a small district like ours where everyone is pulled in a lot of directions. Not having the rental issue is nice for us to focus on education. Yep.
Anyone else? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, public comments. Do we have any? No? Okay. So on to action items, starting with the personnel action report. And this is page 47, 33 or 47, depends
Yeah,
on which
I
number
know.
you're looking at.
I'm looking at
33 on the
exactly.
printed, 47 on the margin, okay?
Wrong agenda in that new packet?
It's the old one. Yeah.
Well, no, the numbers on the right are different, but on the print, on the actual thing, they're
because
still
they
the old
look at it
numbers.
Through Adobe?
Yeah, still a PDF. On the
Oh, okay.
updated one, it still had the old numbers on the
Yeah,
actual
right.
pages.
I just kept it as an addendum.
But to the
Okay.
right, yeah, to the right is,
All right,
yeah,
lesson
exactly.
learned. I will fix
So so there's two, yeah, so
I
I'll
thought I
refer to
was
both
making life
numbers here.
easier, but apparently not.
Yeah. So page 33 on the PDF or 47 on the margin there. Okay, any questions about that? If not, how about a motion to approve?
I move we approve.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. Next up is on page 34 through 38, or 48 to 52. And that would be the payroll vouchers. Likewise, either questions or a motion to approve.
I so move.
Okay, and a second?
A second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Next up is the accounts payable vouchers, which is starting on either page 39 or 53, depending on which one you look at. And I looked through these in detail, and I had several questions which Dr. J answered for me earlier today, so I think I didn't have any other questions or concerns about any of the items. Anybody else? Maybe? No?
I move we approve.
Okay, and a second?
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. On to donations, which start on either page 57 or 71.
I do have a question there.
Okay.
I just need to get there. Hold on a second. I wanted to ask about the donation for the Skills USA Club. I think it's for, I can't tell which school or,
I would just,
That's from the Elks,
It'd be
the
the
Elks
high school.
donation.
Yep.
it's the Elks donation.
yeah,
2,500.
I would have to get back to you on what,
Well, school says DO, district office. Is
Right,
that-
but-
There's two Elks, is that
There's
one?
two.
Arizona
This is the
Elks
first one, the
and-
Benevolent Protective Order of the Elks, the first one.
It was a $2,500 donation for Skills USA Club.
Yeah, it's listed as DO, so district office.
since it went to George, I'd have to get back to you, but my thought here is that it's for one of the clubs that he's running. I have not seen anything with Skills USA in years, so I'd have to ask Barry if that club is up and running again, or if it's had new life, but I have not seen anything with Skills USA in a while.
And
that
George
brings-
is referenced on the.
He's referenced there, so.
As the thank, yeah, letter of thanks sent by.
So I'd have to get back to you.
Yeah, and I don't see it necessarily well, actually, I do see it listed.
Club?
The extracurricular piece?
Yeah, in the extracurricular, under practical arts /CTE,
Okay.
in that section there.
Which is, he's a teacher in CT, so that makes sense. I just haven't seen, the last time I saw someone with Skills USA was when I was principal.
Okay.
So, but I'm not there every day, so I don't know if that's up and running again. But I know it's a club we've had in the past.
And what did it do? I guess that's what
That, you know, I'd have to get back to you.
whatever George is doing in his CET,
Yeah.
CTE class.
I would have to get back to you. It's been a while
Okay.
since I've looked at Skills USA.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions about donations?
No.
If not, do we have a motion to approve? I'll make that motion to approve. How about a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And as always, we appreciate the donations. Very generous community we have. Okay, next up is the fiscal year 25 annual financial report that we heard about. We just need to approve now. Any additional questions about it? or-
I move we approve the FY '25 annual financial report.
Okay, how about a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Next up is the updated extracurricular fee, starting on either page 65 or 79, depending on which one you're looking at. And there's only the one change there, I think.
Yeah.
Spirit Squad chair.
Well, a couple. There's the robotics club.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
sorry.
Yeah. My question is around the Spirit Squad. So it looks like it looks like you're separating into two squads, and the only difference between the black squad versus the blue squad is that one meets 2 days a week, therefore it costs more, and the other one meets 1 day a week. Is that essentially the difference?
I had 50 girls turn out for tryouts, and I'm trying to accommodate as many as I can. So that was and I had a lot of students that weren't available both days a week. So I gave a 1 day a week option, but in good conscience, I feel like the price should also be half.
Yeah.
So that's the difference, is just as you read there, that 1 day a week would be that 125 and 2 days a week.
Well, thank you for making the accommodations for the families. That's very nice.
Yeah, it's a great program, I'm very proud of it.
Other questions or comments? Okay, now do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion we approve the extracurricular activities fee schedule.
How about a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Next up is the professional meet and confer, which starts on page 69 or 83, depending on which way you're looking at. And I do have one comment or correction about that. I'm not sure, is anybody here representing that, or is that?
I will.
Okay, good. So this is on page 72 of the printed copy, right before compensation. I just have printed page here. It's the second bullet point ahead of compensation.
Okay,
See that? So it says, the classroom site fund. It's the bullet that starts with classroom site fund.
got it.
And basically, at the end, it says Arizona State Revised Statute. The technical name of that is Arizona Revised Statutes. So for referencing, it should be the exact title. So it should be "and Arizona Revised Statutes."
Got it.
Okay. That's the only thing I caught. Anybody else with comments or questions about that? Okay. If not, I'll move that we approve it with that change. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Next up is the support meet and confer. And I have nothing to pick on that one. Anybody else with comments or questions? Okay, if not, I'll make a motion to approve the support meet and confer. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. And lastly is the administrative meet and confer. And likewise, I had no questions. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Okay, if not, I will move that we approve the administrative meet and confer. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, passed unanimously. All right, on to information and discussion items. And this is the ASBA bylaws, which I looked through, and I just have one, one comment or opinion that I'll share. And this is on page 128 of the,
The new one?
128 of the printed, and it's 130 131, I guess, of the, I don't know, let me go to 121 here and see what it is. I'm getting there.
Starts on 131.
Okay, so it's on page 128 or 142. So it's 128 in the printed and 142 on the margin thing. So this is in reference to section 2, caucuses. So the middle paragraph there is, with the adoption of this section, the Black Caucus of ASBA and Hispanic Native American Indian Caucus of ASBA are hereby established. My feeling on that is, we should, ASBA and everybody, we should be working for the general benefit of all students. So I'm looking at creating separate caucuses as kind of creating division, and we should be looking for the benefit of all, connected, not dividing this caucus, that caucus, or whatever.
Are you
That's
on-
my opinion.
Oh, excuse me, are you on page, you said 142?
No,
This
yeah,
is
128 or 142, yeah.
142 and the new one.
Yeah.
This is, we're not changing anything on this, because this is already there.
Oh, it
The only
is?
changes are the things that are in red or blue. So
Um,
the caucus is already there, but what's going to happen is that we may be merging, depending on what happens with this group.
Okay.
We're still representing the different factors, but it's everything that we've been talking about when I went to these meetings is really that it's for every student.
Okay,
It's just that there are certain things, factors that are different for these subdivisions. So it's not that we're changing anything, we're just putting all caucus bylaws shall conform to applicable statutes, because I think what happened is each one of these caucuses had different things, so they're trying to make sure that they're the same as the bylaws of ASBA.
okay.
So only additions or corrections would be either in red or in blue. If it's in black, it's already been there.
Okay. Well, I guess my comment is, it would be, in my opinion, it'd be nice to just address all issues for
And it
everybody
is.
together, but
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Okay, that's my only comment. Anybody else with questions or comments about the bylaws, which I guess we'll vote on next
Next
meeting?
week, yeah. And then one of us has to record the voting.
Right, right.
So
I think I can do that, actually.
you can do that instead of me doing it as a delegate,
Yeah.
correct?
Okay.
So,
I think the only other comment I have is, there's this page that does the bylaw changes, and if they pass, if they don't pass. Electronic voting is authorized, voting remains manual only. There's nothing wrong with manual voting.
no.
Is what I
and
would say.
I think what happened is they tried to do this last year, there weren't enough people responding. And I think that's what happened. And plus, it was even more confusing, so that's why they try to go back and make the wording sound better than just confusing everybody. And there weren't enough people logging on to vote, so the rest of the voting ended up being at the conference itself. So they want to make sure that all this is done ahead of time.
Okay.
And the justification for electronic is, I assume, partly because people way north or northwest and that, it's hard for them to
Yes,
come down here?
very much so.
Yeah, okay. All right, anybody else? Okay, if not, we'll move on. Next up is the policy advisories, starting at either page 131 or 145. And there's a couple comments that I have, because as usual, I go through these. Okay, so the
I
first.
have a comment before yours.
Do you?
It's
Go
just
ahead, go ahead.
so much.
Huh?
Yes.
It's so much at once. I really wish we could split some of these.
Well,
into
these are
different-
sent from ASBA in a package. The next meeting, the package is only like, the policy is only like 3 pages.
Right. I'm just wondering, do we have to keep them in the cadence that they're sent to us?
Yeah, I
Or
don't know.
can we, like, if we know the next meeting, we aren't going to have any policies to review, can we take a few from here and push them to the next meeting?
I believe you can.
Yeah, you
Yes,
could.
I think you can.
It's for you, what they're trying to say is, they've reviewed the policy, they've made changes for whatever reason, and it's their recommendation. Whether you decide to do it or not is up to you as a board. So I don't see any reason why you couldn't take your time if you wanted to.
Yeah, and they
yes.
typically, what they've been doing each year is they'll go section by section. So I think that that's just a particularly
Long section.
And when I go in and either approve or decline, I do it individually. So per policy, so you guys can handle it any way you want.
Okay, that'd be my suggestion as someone who works full-time as well.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, I do too, not full-time, but whatever. Anyway, well, this is information discussion, so we could always decide next meeting whether we want to vote piecemeal or whatever. But I do have a couple of comments which I think are pretty straightforward. And a lot of these were just condensing language and that kind of stuff, and condensing policies, combining them. So one is on page 156 of the paper, and I'm not sure what it is on the other thing. But it's the accident reports thing. Policy EBBB-R. And toward the bottom of the page there, it says, a student who is ill should be sent to the nurse's office or the school office with an appropriate pass. If a student is sent home, in parentheses, only with parent knowledge, the teacher will be notified. And my comment there, it should be with parent or legal guardian
Yes.
knowledge.
Yes.
Because not every child will have a parent.
Yes.
So that's the one suggestion I would make. Next one is page 176 on the printed copy. This is policy EEA, student transportation. And it starts out saying, the board authorizes the administration to provide regular school bus transportation to and from school for the following categories. And my suggestion is that that sentence be changed to, the board may authorize the administration to provide. Because otherwise, as it stands, it says we have to provide school bus transportation, and that may be an issue that we need to address. So it'll give us the, may authorize.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Rich, I also caught that as well and thought that it locks us into
Yeah.
providing transportation when it may not be in our budget or whatever.
Okay. Next one, page 221, this is policy EF, food services. And if you guys have comments, stop me, I'm just running along here, but the paragraph about competitive food sales. And about 2/3 of the way down, it says, this does not prevent a student's parent or guardian from providing ultra-processed food to the student.
Yeah.
And the concern is, well, and then ultra-processed food is a couple lines lower. The concern I have is that there's no definition of ultra-processed food here, because could be debatable. So what I would suggest is that in those two places where the phrase ultra-processed food is mentioned, that we add the phrase as defined in Arizona Revised Statutes 15-242.01, which is a definition of what a ultra-processed food, the ingredients that would make it ultra-processed, so that's very specific.
Rich, what page is that?
This is page 221 on the printed. I'm not sure what it is on the, I could scroll down, let me
Trying
scroll
to
down
find
and
it
tell you.
on here.
Yeah, 221 on the paper copy.
I mean, I don't disagree that referencing that, with your suggestion of referencing that, but I think that a lot of people, parents, guardians, won't even know what that is.
Well, yeah, but at
Right?
least it's there, so if anyone wants to look, they can.
And
Because
what-
otherwise saying ultra-processed foods, well, what's that? I mean, it's not defined, but it is defined in state law now. It was passed
Yeah.
in this last session. So, yeah, so
What was that statute number, Rich?
15-242.01. So the phrase would be as defined in ARS 15-242.01, and that would be added in those two sections where the phrase ultra-processed foods
And
is
it is
included.
under competitive food sales?
Competitive
That's in
food
there,
sales.
ARS 15-242.
Yeah, it's up in there.
It's in there.
It just makes
Right.
it, I think, a little clearer. You know, so when they say ultra-processed food, actually it's three, I guess it's in there three
It's in
times.
there. It-
But I think just grammatically, the
Just-
second and third time adding that in makes more sense, because otherwise it's in the same sentence. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, okay?
Can you go back one, Rich?
Yeah,
Can you go back to the transportation, student transportation bus thing?
yeah. Page 176? Yeah,
And were you talking about that first comment about the board authorizes?
yeah, the current language that they have here is the board authorizes, which means we would make, and correct me, Dr. J, if I'm wrong here, but it would mandate school bus transportation.
See, I didn't read it that way. It didn't look like it mandated, it just authorizes the administration to do it in those categories.
What I suggest here is that I see both sides of it. You know, you're authorizing me to make that decision, but if we chose not to, which we're not planning, so I just want to be clear of that. But let's say that time came, I think the concern is someone could say, well, they're authorizing you, you need to do it. Or if you just put the word may in, it gives flexibility a little bit, because we've looked into this before. We are authorized, like, we are mandated to do transportation for students with special needs. And outside of that, it's a district call. And so with the word may, I think it just opens the door a little bit for if that time ever came where we have this program, or we have this, or we have, you know, it just gives us a little bit more flexibility. And it doesn't say either way we're going to or we're not going to. It just says that we may do it. So that was the reason behind it, Bernie. It was just to make sure we're not putting out to the community that we are required to. And I see it your way too. Like the way you just said it makes me think, well, yeah, you're authorizing me to be able to do it, but do I have to?
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
It makes us decide, not him. That's why they pay us the big bucks. Yeah. Just so you guys know, we don't get paid. Okay. Okay. Any other questions about the policies? Okay.
Rich, I had one, although I wish I would have jotted the page down. It was the policy that covers, employee or staff conduct. Do you remember that one? I think it was towards the end.
Toward the end of this packet here?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
And
scroll
what
down
I
and see.
noticed is that they took out a whole section about reporting. So in other words, you know, if a staff member or a teacher or an administrator or whoever were to do one of these items, the previous policy talked about how other peers or whatever have an obligation to report it. And they redlined it out completely.
I think some of these, and I'm still looking for that, but some of these, they combined, so when it was,
Yes.
it would move it to a different policy.
That was going to be my question, is
Right.
if you
I think-
saw where it got
I
moved
think,
to?
yeah.
I think
Because,
it's page 268, and
268.
we have a 254 in the actual paper. And I agree, a lot of the things that they crossed off, they were somewhere else. They were
Yeah.
put in before, so I remember reading things about
Yeah,
that.
a lot of the latest ones that they had were, they combined things into fewer policies.
Right.
okay.
And like there's one, like the one for next week, that basically the same language is twice in the same policy. So yeah, but we'll get to that next week.
I kind of wish, this is just a wish.
No, staff conduct, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wish when they do this, that they would reference where they've moved it to.
Yeah.
Well, there is
They
a, there
did
is
the
a,
very first page.
Okay, so I can look there and.
Yeah.
The very
Yeah,
first
you're right.
one.
I remember
Yeah.
the details where they say deleted and.
Right.
yeah, this,
Okay.
this stuff here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look through that more, because that was concerning to me. That was a large
Yeah,
section
because
removed from
they
there.
list these, and then after it's, there's a one summarizing the changes after these initial pages.
Yeah, I saw the deleted stuff, yeah.
Yeah. that's
Okay,
right.
so
So
I will look
policy
through that.
958. Yeah.
before we
But I'm
actually
pretty sure
vote
that
on
was, it was a combination of
I keep
things.
thinking
And
the same thing. I remember
Yeah.
seeing it somewhere.
and that was, much of this was just combining policies
Yeah.
and trimming it down the language, so it's not repetitive. Okay, anything else on policies?
Nope.
Okay, then moving on to, what do we have? Future actions. So student outcomes such as report cards and proficiency data will come up at some future date. Dates of upcoming meetings, a week from today, October 22nd, right here, and then November 5th. And actually, next week will be, there will be an executive session, so it'll be 5 PM next week,
Yeah.
then potentially 6 PM on November 5th. And if there's nobody else that wants to add anything, I will accept the motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. 59 minutes.
So they moved it to ECAC. I'm impressed.
Just like the budget.
Oh.
Sign, pass
With
along.
his program of helping the kids.
Doesn't matter where we sign
No,
it.
that's, the form's kind of weird, thank you.
Yeah, signature date. We don't
Yeah.
put the date, right?
Into that,
I mean, if
like
you want,
into the new.
if you want to put 10:15, that would be
Okay.
great. just
I
so
don't
that
know, I haven't seen
Approve
stuff.
it
Yeah,
Just
on
on
that day.
okay, that sounds good, thank you.
Okay. If I put it, that should be good enough. We don't all have to
Do
write.
you need my
that.
tiny signature?
Yeah. Yeah, wait till you see this one.
No, this, see, it gets smaller. Pretty soon you'll be like,
Yeah.
Let me get my signature.
just like.
Okay, and there's the whole packet of stuff there.
Signature anywhere on here.